Welcome back to this series where we're talking about what to do when you've run out of the steam to dream. My name is Shelley Walters, the CEO and founder of the Sales Council, and I'm really passionate about this 5-part series where we're talking to people just like me, just like you, who have found themselves at a point in their lives where it's difficult to set goals, to dream, and to cast new vision. So we shared our first tip. If you missed it, please go and take a look and find the first video where we spoke about the dangers of being in survival mode too long and how that impacts our ability to dream. Now, the second cause as to why it is challenging for us to set goals and to dream new dreams and to cast vision is because when you've lived long enough, you've made a couple of significant mistakes and you can remember the pain of those mistakes. Maybe the mistake was you were passed over for a promotion after you put your hand up for that opportunity. Maybe you took on a role that you thought was going to be life-changing and you didn't enjoy it and that feels like a failure to you. Perhaps you took a risk with your heart and it didn't go the way that you thought it would. And of course, the pain of heartache is something that's challenging for most of us to forget. You see, when you've lived a little while, you've probably made a few more mistakes than you had when you were young. And so that's what comes with living, right? Now, here's the thing. When you live a little while and you've made a few mistakes, you can remember the sting and the pain of those mistakes. And that becomes a reference point that can hold you back from dreaming again or setting new goals. So here are a couple of things that you can do. Firstly, reframe what actually happened. I know that there was a point in my life in which I took a role, and in fact, there's times when I was much younger, when I was selling in industries, that once I got the job and I was in the industry, I realized it just wasn't a good fit for me. And at the time, when I was young, I thought I was failing. I look back at it now and I realize it just wasn't a good fit for me. And something that I've learned is that not every job is the right fit for every seller, and not every seller is the right fit for every product and service. And actually now I look back at that and I'm grateful that I had that learning so early in my life. And the narrative I have is not that, oh, I was bad at that. But you know what? The narrative is I've been able to play to my strengths and I'm so much better at these things, right? Then the second thing is we focus too much on how we're going to do the thing that we think we want to do. And when you immediately get stuck into execution and planning, you just can't be creative. Creativity requires you to have the margin to make mistakes. So right now I'm recording these videos. I've moved the desk a few times. At one point, I think I might have swallowed a fly because I've decided to record this on the hottest day in Johannesburg. And I needed some time in my calendar to allow me to find the right spot to record, re-record, and to keep my script shorter because I keep waffling. So moving on to the next point. But don't think about just the how. Allow yourself why and create margin for yourself, as we said in tip 1, so that you can play and be creative. Because if you're going to dream, you need to have the margin to make some mistakes. And then this can be very difficult to do when you are really tired and you are in the minutiae and you're in the detail. But allow yourself to sit back and think, if I could, what would my perfect work day look like? But think about what your day would be if it could be. And then the last one is fast forward. Think about what life you want in the next 5 or 10 years. So let's get personal for a second. I'm 45 years old, and this year I'm turning 46. So in 4.5 years, God willing, I will be 50. And I was chatting to my husband the other day and talking about the growth that the Sales Council has experienced in the last 4.5 years. And it has been a time of tremendous growth, and we're grateful for that. But there's a reason they talk about growing pains. I was saying to him that although I'm so grateful for how far we've come in the last 4.5 years, I don't want the next 4.5 years to be like the last 4.5 years, because in 4.5 years from now, I'll be 50. And in 9.5 years, I'll be 55. And in 14.5 years, I'll be 60. And that helps me greatly to dream, because I have a clear vision of where I want to be then, and to set goals that are going to get me that much closer.